Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to RPG A Day 2022, August 1st, 2022. I have not been able to finish an RPG A Day project straight through for about 5 years. I think I might have finished 2017 straight through or 2016 straight through. I can't remember. They were interrupted by breaks and hiatus over the last few years, and starting in 2018 with the unfortunate events in August of, I've talked about this before, but of Harold's suicide. That brings me to the very first question, and this is, who would you like to introduce to RPGs? That is absolutely a no-brainer for me. It is men over 45 who have never played role-playing games. And why men over 45? Well, because they have the triple suicide rate than any other cause. They're especially white males over 45 or over 65 tend to have a triple suicide rate to their peers. And I'm not certain exactly why that is. They do say that men over 60 generally have trouble making friends or finding hobbies or things that connect them to their society as a whole around them. There's a couple of reasons. Number one, I was blessed. I started at 8, and I've enjoyed it. I took an 18-year hiatus. I've talked about this before in my time, and coming back, it really affected me. I went through severe depression at 26 years old. I had a couple of bouts of depression in my late 30s. I think everybody at some point in their life battles a little depression based on career or something that goes on in their life. But mine was complicated by medication that I had to be on to heal. And so mine was exasperated by medication, which I think is fairly common for many people. My depression, I mean. But coming back to tabletop gaming and board gaming in general, it was having had it as a young person and then walking away from it as part of the thing adults do. We move on to our careers, our wives, our families, and we get serious about everything, and we take on all the worries of the world, the worries of your family, the worries of your job, your career, your success, especially in America. I think we tend to we ask men to take on that particular role. I think that's changing now but again, these are just personal observations. But I do meet and have met through the course of my career as a professional, many men come to me to work on their health and their fitness and the hopes of a greater quality of life as they age. They want to continue to hike and ski, and they want to continue to travel. And so many men, once they retire, it's like if they were type A personalities in profession, and then suddenly they have nothing to do. It's kind of an interesting thing to watch, and from an outsider's perspective, watching, I think, those who retire struggle with what to do with their time. So, of course, there's all kinds of options: volunteering and taking up a hobby, or going back to something you did as a young person you had to shelf. But I do think role-playing does so much. 1, it's social. 2, it's problem-solving. 3, it allows you to imagine, and it allows you to, in a way, place yourself actively into a fiction. Television, movies, that's a passive pastime. Reading is an active pastime. Role-playing is a remarkably active thing to do. And so I think it's so important and plus I think that it can be somewhat, I hate to say this because I don't really want my role-playing tables to become a place where people express their innermost issues, etc. But I do believe it's a great way for people to observe character, behavior, or even learn how to behave well with others. So there's so many great things that come out of a table in a role-playing game that I think is, there's so much of a stigma too with role playing that it's, you know, it's what nerds do, or it's what, you know, of course I grew up I was in the heart of it in the 80s where it was a satanic panic, which many of us come from. And I was lucky to have parents that said that's nonsense. Go have fun. You know, they knew this. They knew we weren't about that. But anyway, again, typical of me, short. I'm making a short answer long. Who would I like to introduce to RPGs? Men over 45 that have never played a role-playing game. You know, I met a friend in college. He was in his 30s, and he had never played a tabletop sports game. He loved hockey. We talked about football all the time. We played video games together. And I was amazed that he was 30-some-odd years old, and he'd never even heard of a board game, sports game. You know, he played Monopoly, of course. He'd played Dungeons and Dragons as a kid. But I introduced him to Stratomatic hockey, and we had unbelievably good times. And it was amazing to see him in his 30s to discover that his favorite sport and his favorite teams and his favorite athletes and players, he could take his Detroit Red Wings and he could set up his lines and he could sit down and play his Detroit team and line changes, and they would try to beat me, and it was competitive, but it was also this joy of in our mind's eye seeing the shot on goal, seeing the check, seeing the steal. And it was one of the most rewarding things about our friendship was having a chance to introduce it to him and watching how he became a fan and how it added, I think, to our friendship. It added to our life together. And I think role playing in many ways surpasses board gaming in that way. So, all right, thank you for watching. This is RPGA Day 2022, August 1st. Good day.